Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The desperate summons. The big meeting room of the Galactic Federation got really quiet. The special screen on the wall went dark. There were people from 43 worlds sitting in their own special areas. They all looked really different from each other. Some had a lot of arms and legs, some were floating in bubbles, and a few were just made of energy inside fancy containers. On this day they all had the same scared look on their faces. The Galactic Federation was a big deal, and now everyone in the room was waiting to see what would happen next. The representatives from the 43 worlds were all thinking about the thing, and that was what was making them so nervous. The Galactic Federation was in trouble. Nobody knew what to do. Ambassador Vorin of the delegation was standing at the central podium. He looked really tired. His silver fur did not shine like it usually did. The Talaxian species came from a cold planet where they had to hunt in groups to survive. They were very good at knowing when something was not right. Ambassador Vorin felt like something was very wrong now. He was getting a lot of feelings. Every part of him was telling him that he had to hurry. Ambassador Vorin held the speaker's platform tightly with all four of his hands. He wanted to make sure he did not fall over. Then Ambassador Vorin started to talk to the people who were gathered there. Honored delegates, Vorin said, his voice coming through the speakers in the room, we have lost the outer territories. This is a deal. The outer territories have 17 colonies and 14 billion people living there. The Krell swarm has taken over all of them. Our ships have fought the Krell swarm in 12 fights. We have not won any of these fights. The outer territories are. The Krell swarm is still out there. We have to think about what to do about the outer territories and the Krell swarm. People in the room started to whisper to each other. Some of the delegates got really upset. The air cleaners had a hard time getting rid of the bad smells they were giving off. Others made their lights dimmer because they were sad. The Krell swarm showed up 3 years ago from the edge of the galaxy. It is a group of bug-like creatures that eat everything they come across. When the Krell swarm leaves a planet, it is dead and empty. They take all the resources, burn up the air, and even pull out the minerals from the center of the planet and eat those too. The Krell swarm is a problem. Supreme Chancellor Mivek is a big deal from the worlds of Praxis that are made of crystal. He put up one of his see-through arms to get everyone to be quiet. The light inside him was flashing because he was worried. Supreme Chancellor Mivek said to Ambassador Vorin, we know how bad things are. The people who plan our stuff think everything will fall apart in 8 months. What do you have to tell us that we do not already know, Ambassador Vorin? Vorin's ears went back against his head, which is what his people do when they are about to say something hard. There is one power we have not talked to. One species that we do not know what they can do because we decided to keep them separate 200 years. The room completely fell apart. The delegates were all yelling at the time, and the translators were making it sound like a big mess with all the different voices talking over each other. Some of the delegates were hitting their desks with their hands and feet because they were so upset. Chancellor Mivek had to use the signal to get everyone to be quiet, not one, not two, but 3 times before the delegates were calm enough for him to say something. Mivek said this slowly. He did not think it was possible. The humans, he thought, are the ones who are very violent. They are like primitives. They almost started a war when we first met them. We thought the humans were too dangerous to be part of our society, the humans. The same, Vorin replied. His voice was steady even though the people at the meeting were being really mean. I have looked at the records a lot. Humans did hurt each other. They had wars that were very bad. Humans could also do something that we cannot. They could change and deal with problems when things got tough, and they were really good at fighting, which is kind of scary. Ambassador Calrix of the Serpentine Dominion, who looked like a cobra with many arms, was really mad. He said, the humans hurt our ship when we tried to help them with their problems. 3 of our ambassadors from the Serpentine Dominion got killed. The humans from Earth did not say sorry, they just said they were right to fight the Serpentine Dominion ambassadors. Vorin turned to face Calrix directly. Because the ambassadors of Calrix went into the territory of the humans without asking. Landed on the human colony world when there was a fight going on. The humans told Calrix to leave 5 times before they started shooting. The rules of Vorin would have done the thing in that situation. The rules of Vorin would have protected the humans in the same way. Calrix should have known that the humans would not let them just land on their colony world during a fight. The humans were very clear about what would happen if Calrix did not leave. Calrix did not listen to the humans. That is why the humans opened fire on the ambassadors of Calrix. The humans and Vorin have the idea about what to do when someone comes into their territory without permission. Voron and the humans and Calrix all know that you do not go into someone's territory without asking, especially when there is a fight going on. The humans and Voron would do the thing if someone came into our territory without asking. The ambassadors of Calrix should have known better than to go into the territory of the humans without permission. The humans were just protecting themselves and their colony world. The humans were just following the rules that everyone knows. Calrix should have followed the rules. Asked for permission before landing on the human colony world. The people in charge said no to our membership offer, said another person who was there. They picked being alone over being part of a community and following the rules that people normally follow in a society. No, Voron said as he pulled up records on the main screen. We were the ones who decided to keep to ourselves and leave them alone. Remember what happened before? This group of people here made a decision to keep humans away from the rest of us. We put up machines to protect their star system. Told everyone to stay away. We made this decision, not the humans. The humans just did what we told them to do. Stayed inside the boundaries we set for them. Chancellor Mivek's light was pulsing in a thoughtful way. What makes you think they will help Chancellor Mivek and the rest of us now, even if Chancellor Mivek and the people ask them to? Chancellor Mivek and the people left them all alone for 200 years. That is a long time. Chancellor Mivek is not sure they will want to help Chancellor Mivek and the people after what Chancellor Mivek and the people did to them. Voron worked the controls and recent information popped up. The screen showed the parts of human space, where special sensors had found something weird going on. Because our scouts saw something cool. The humans have not just been sitting around during their time. The humans have been building things. The humans have been working on something. The holographic images got closer, showing structures going around every big thing in the human star system. There were defense stations with a lot of weapons on them. The shipyards were really big. What was more worrying was that these structures had energy signs that showed the humans had not made anything like that before. The human star system had a lot of these structures, and the Federation did not know what to make of the energy signatures from the human star system. Science Director Thulman said, "These readings do not make sense." Science Director Thulman is a being with a lot of knowledge. He has a mechanical body. "The power that we are getting from this system is too much," said Science Director Thulman. "It is more than what we thought was possible." Science Director Thulman also said, "The size of this construction is really big. It is as big as what our whole Federation can do." Science Director Thulman then asked, "How can one system that is all alone do something like this?" "That is what I mean," Voron said. "We thought that if they were alone they would not be able to do anything and would have to ask to join the rest of the galaxy. That did not happen. The people of that planet did well on their own. They worked hard to make their civilization better and to get ready for the future. The planet and the people who live there have changed a lot in the 200 years. They are not the simple people that we used to know. The people of that planet have become something. Whatever they have become, they are not the same as they used to be." A long silence followed. Every single delegate understood what this really meant. If the humans had been able to develop this much on their own, the humans might have the power to take on the Krell swarm. The humans might also have the power to take on every other group, including the humans themselves and other groups like the Krell swarm. "This is crazy," Calrix said in an angry tone. "You want us to ask wolves for help to save us from predators, then just hope that the wolves do not attack us later on. I mean, what if the wolves turn on us after we let them in? That would be really bad. The wolves are the ones we should be worried about, not the other predators. The wolves are a big threat too." Voron said, "I think we have no choice." He told them, "The Krell will get to our worlds in 8 months. Voron explained that every time they ran a simulation, every time they looked at the tactics, every time they thought about the picture, they got the same result. "We cannot win this war with the military we have now," he said. "We need someone to help us, and the humans are the ones we have not asked yet." Chancellor Mivek turned down his light, which meant he was thinking really hard. The consequences of what he was about to decide would be huge. Affect the whole galaxy. If the humans said no to helping the Chancellor Mivek and his people, then nothing would change. If the humans agreed to help Chancellor Mivek and his people and they did a good job, then Chancellor Mivek and his people would owe them. This was a problem because Chancellor Mivek and his people had not treated the humans well in the past. If the humans agreed to help Chancellor Mivek and his people but then did something bad, Chancellor Mivek and his people would have to deal with 2 big threats instead of just 1 threat. Voron said this softly. He said, "If we do not do anything, the humans will destroy the aliens. If we work with the humans, the aliens have a chance to survive." The vote was called. This was a deal. The Federation people talked about it for 3 hours. They got really upset. Then they finally made a decision. The resolution. It was really close. 1 vote made the difference. 22 species said yes, 21 said no. So the humans would be contacted. Ambassador Voron was the one who came up with the proposal, so he would be in charge of the group that goes to meet the humans. 5 days later, Voron found himself on a ship that was used for diplomatic things, and it was getting close to the edge of the space that humans control. The people who were with him on the ship were the ones who really needed to be, and they all knew they might not make it back home. This was because the last ship that went into this space without being allowed to was destroyed away by machines that were set up to defend the area, and the pieces of the ship were sent back with a message that said, "Respect our borders." Voron was on a vessel and he was going into a dangerous area of space. The people sent the codes they had agreed on and they waited. The answer came back fast, much faster than any living thing Voron knew could respond. A human voice spoke in Galactic Standard, even though the way the words sounded was a bit weird and short. "Vessel, this is Earth Defense Station 7. What brings the vessel to our planet? We need to know what the Talaxian vessel wants." Voron stepped forward to the communication console. He said, "This is Ambassador Voron of the Galactic Federation. I want to talk to your leaders. The Galactic Federation needs help with something important. This is about the survival of the Galactic Federation." There was a pause that lasted for 15 seconds. It felt like a long time. Voron thought about the commanders. He wondered if they were talking about what to do with his ship, if they should destroy it or listen to what he had to say. The voice on the end finally spoke up and said, "We should go to the coordinates they are sending us right now." The message went on to say, "If the flight path is not followed exactly, it will mean trouble. The flight will be destroyed away. An escort plane will be meeting the flight soon to make sure everything goes smoothly. The escort will be with the flight shortly." The escort got there fast. It was 3 cool ships that the Federation had never seen before. These ships moved perfectly. They were so smooth. The outside of the ships was covered in some kind of material that made it hard for sensors to get a reading. As the escort ships took Voron's ship further into space, he saw what was really going on, which was different from what the scans from far away had shown. The escort ships were really good at what they did. Voron's ship was going deeper into human space with the escort ships leading the way. The human space was full of things that Voron had not seen before. The escort ships were showing him the way. There were weapon platforms around every planet, moon and asteroid that mattered. These platforms had rail guns that were pointing at every direction someone could come from. They also had missile batteries that could fill up areas of space with missiles. Patrol ships were moving around in patterns that showed they had a very advanced way of doing things, much better than what the Federation does. The thing that really stood out was the energy signatures of big reactors, the kind that could power whole cities, and they were all being used for weapons and shields. The weapon platforms and the reactors and the shields were all part of a system to protect the planets, moons and asteroids. Weapon platforms were everywhere. They were all working together to keep everything safe. They took him to a station that went around Mars, which is the second planet that people live on. The station was really big, about the size of a moon. But it was not made to look nice, it was made to work. The people who built it did not care about making it look pretty, they just wanted it to be good at what it does. The Mars station was about being efficient, that is all that mattered. Voron was walking through the corridors. There were people everywhere in military uniforms. All of these people stopped what they were doing to look at Voron. They seemed curious about him, but some of them also looked like they did not trust him. Some people even put their hands on their guns, which made Voron feel a little scared. Voron had forgotten what it is like to be around humans. The way they look at you with their eyes is really weird. Their eyes are right in the front of their face, like animals that hunt, and they always seem to be watching you and trying to figure out what you are doing. Voron thought that human eyes could be really unsettling, like Voron was seeing them for the time. The man was taken to a conference room. A woman was waiting for him. She had on a uniform. It had symbols on it that showed she was important. Her hair was pulled back tight. The woman looked at the man with a lot of intensity. It was the kind of look the man had seen from people in the hallways. The conference room was where the man was now. The woman with the uniform was studying the man. "Ambassador Voron," she said as she stood up to welcome him. "I am Commander Elena Vasquez, the Director of External Affairs for the Earth Defense Initiative. Please, Ambassador Voron, take a seat." Voron sat down in a chair that was made for all sorts of creatures. Commander Vasquez was sitting across from him. She had her hands folded together on the table. Commander Vasquez was waiting for him to talk. She did not say a word. It was clear that Commander Vasquez was expecting Voron to tell her why he had traveled across 200 years of being alone. Voron had to explain why he had crossed 2 centuries of isolation. Commander Vasquez, Voron said slowly, "The Galactic Federation is in trouble. This enemy group called the Krell Swarm is hurting our people badly. We have tried everything we can think of to stop them. It is not working. So we have come to ask the people of Earth humanity for their help to fight against the Krell Swarm and save the Galactic Federation." The Krell swarm is a problem for the Galactic Federation and we need humanity's assistance to deal with the Krell swarm. Vasquez's face did not change. He said, 200 years ago the Federation told the people of our planet that we were too violent to be part of the rest of the galaxy. The Federation kept us isolated like we were sick. Told us to stay in our own system. Why should the people of our planet care about what's happening outside of our planet? The Krell are not going to stop when they get to the Federation borders, Voron said. They will keep going until they have taken over all of our worlds. After that the Krell will come for the worlds that belong to you. We need your help now. You will have to deal with the Krell by yourself later. Vasquez said, maybe we like our chances by ourselves. We have had 200 years to get ready. You, it seems, have not had that time to prepare. Voron leaned forward. His voice was really urgent. Commander, I have seen what the Krell do to planets. The Krell do not take over planets, the Krell completely destroy them. The Krell take everything from the planets, leaving nothing on the planets. I'm talking about the Krell. The Krell have killed people in 17 colonies. The number of people killed by the Krell is 14 billion. All these people are dead because of the Krell. Your people know how important it is to survive. You must understand what I am asking you about the Krell. Vasquez did not say a word for a long time. She just kept looking at Voron's face. Then she brought up a screen that showed where the Krell ships were moving and what was happening in the battles. It also showed how many people were getting hurt. We have been keeping an eye on what's going on, she said. We have people who gather information from away and they have been watching the Krell for 18 months. We know what the Krell can do. We also know that the Voron fleets are not doing well. The Krell fleet movements are a problem for the Voron fleets. She messed with the display. It showed pictures of human ships and their weapons. Your problem is easy to see, Ambassador. You are fighting like war is a game with rules that everyone follows. The Krell do not think about rules. The Krell want to win. And that is what we want too. We want to win like the Krell. The Krell are only thinking about winning. We need to think that way as well if we are going to beat the Krell. Then you will help us? Voron. He felt a lot of hope rising up in his chest. Vasquez said, I am allowed to give some help from the military. There are some rules. If we get into a fight, we do it our way. We do not want the Federation to tell us what to do. We do not want people questioning our plans. We do not want anyone to stop us from doing what we think is best. You have to let the military make all the decisions. We will not help. The Federation is going to say yes to anything, Voron said away. Vasquez nodded slowly. Then humanity will send our ships to fight. We will send 80 of our fleet ships to your place where you get ready within 10 days. Voron's hope started to fade. He said, 80 ships is what we have, Commander. The Krell always bring thousands of ships to fight. The Federation only has 600 ships left. I do not think 80 ships will be enough for us to win. The Krell have many more ships than we do and 80 ships is just not enough. We need a lot ships than that to fight the Krell. Commander Vasquez smiled for the time. This smile was not in one. He said to the ambassador, your Federation has a lot of ships, thousands of them, but you are still losing. I think it is not about how ships you have. Maybe our Federation ships, all 80 of them will be enough to win. Maybe the Federation ships will be more than enough to win. She got up, which meant the meeting was finished. Go back to your Federation, ambassador. Let them know that humanity is going to fight. Tell them they need to get ready for a war because that is what it will be, a war between humanity and the Federation. As Voron was taken back to his ship, he felt a feeling inside him. It was like he was happy and scared at the time. He had gotten the help of humanity. He could not stop thinking that he had just started something really bad. The humans had said they would help save the Federation. What would they want in exchange? And what was even scarier, what would they be able to do when they were let loose in the galaxy, where nobody expected them to be? Voron thought about the humans. What they might do, and it made him feel even more afraid of what the humans would be capable of. The answers would come soon enough. The Annihilation Protocol. 10 days later, Ambassador Voron was standing in the command center of Federation Central Station. He was watching the displays and he was getting more and more anxious. There were officers from lots of species all around him. They were working together to get what was left of their military forces ready. The room was very tense. Every person in the room knew that the Krell swarm was getting close to the Qatar Prime System. The Qatar Prime System is home to the Federation Central Station and 12 billion people who live on 3 planets. The Krell swarm was approaching the Qatar Prime System. This was a big problem for Ambassador Voron and the people who lived in the Qatar Prime System. General Sarnak, the Federation's supreme military commander, walked up with heavy steps. This big strong reptile warrior had been in 63 fights over the years. He looked really tired and sad now. His scales did not shine like they used to. General Sarnak said to the ambassador, "We have put our 600 spaceships around Qatar Prime to protect it. Our special machines that can see from away tell us the Krell are coming with 4,000 ships. With help from the humans, the Krell have a lot more ships than we do. They have 5 times more ships than us." Voron's ears twitched nervously. He asked, "When will the human fleet arrive at our place?" Because he was really worried about the fleet. The human fleet was something that Voron thought about all the time. He wanted to know when the human fleet would get there. "Any moment," Sarnak replied, pulling up the tactical display. "The other spaceships sent us their jump coordinates 1 hour ago. The other spaceships should come out at the edge of the system. Then come to join our spaceships in formation." The words were out of his mouth when alarms started blaring all over the command center. These jump signs showed up on every screen, but they were not at the edge of the system like people thought they would be. The human fleet just appeared in the middle of the Federation fleet, and it was really precise. They came in close that they ended up between our own ships with only a few kilometers between them. The human fleet was now right in the center of the Federation formation. "It is not possible," said Science Director Thulman, his body making noise as he got upset. Science Director Thulman's machine parts were moving fast. "To be that precise, you need to do math that our computers cannot handle. If you make a small mistake," Science Director Thulman thought, "it would be very bad and things would crash into each other." Voron looked at the screen, counted the human vessels. There were 80 ships, just like they said there would be. These human ships did not look like any military ships Voron had seen before. The ships from the Federation were nice and pretty, with lines and fancy designs that showed where they came from. The human ships looked like they were made for fighting, like they were built to survive a war. Each vessel was really sharp and rough. It had a lot of armor plating on it that seemed to block sensor beams. The vessels had gun mounts on them, and the way they were set up made it seem like they could do a lot of damage even though they were not that big. There was nothing on these vessels, no fancy details, just what they needed to fight. These vessels were not like the ones that go out and explore space and then have to fight. The vessels were made to be weapons. They were built from the bottom up to destroy things, to kill. General Sarnak's communicator started making a noise. Then Commander Vasquez's face showed up on the screen. Commander Vasquez was on the side of the screen. Behind Commander Vasquez, Voron could see the command bridge. The command bridge was filled with officers. These human officers were working hard at their stations. They were very focused on what they were doing. The bridge did not look like the control center of a ship. General Sarnak's communicator had Commander Vasquez's face on it. The bridge looked like a big machine that could launch weapons. General Sarnak and Commander Vasquez were people. "This is Commander Vasquez of the Earth Expeditionary Fleet," she said. Her voice was sharp. It made Voron's fur stand up. "We are now at the place we were supposed to be," Commander Vasquez said. "Send us all the information you have on the Krell swarm away. We need to know everything about the Krell swarm fleet, what kind of weapons how they fight. Commander Vasquez wants to know all about the Krell swarm." "Commander Vasquez," Chancellor Mivek said over the channel, his body made of crystal shaking a little because he was really worried. "The Galactic Federation wants to thank you for being. We know things look really bad. With your help, the Galactic Federation might be able to hold on long enough to get the regular people out of here. The Galactic Federation is counting on you, Commander Vasquez, to help save the population of the Galactic Federation." Vasquez's face stayed the same. "Chancellor, we did not come to this place to just defend ourselves. We came to Vasquez's location to get rid of the threat. Send the information now." General Sarnak quickly put all the information they had gathered about the Krell on the computer. This was everything they had learned during 3 years of fighting the Krell. They had recordings of battles, they had studied the Krell weapons, they had thought about the ways to fight them, and they had reports on how many people had been hurt. The human computer system took in all of this information in a few seconds. It was able to process the information fast, which made it seem like the computer was more powerful than anything the Federation had. The Krell information was now in the system. The human system was processing the Krell data. The Krell data was being studied by the system. Vasquez said, "I get it," after a pause. "The Krell way of fighting is to have a lot of ships and keep attacking for a time. The Krell shields are really strong. They take a long time to get better again. The Krell ships do not have systems to protect themselves from attacks. This shows that the Krell have never had to deal with a lot of enemies at the same time. The way the Krell ships moves very predictable. They like to attack from the front, but they are not good at protecting themselves from the sides. The Krell formation is good for attacking from the front. It is not good if someone attacks them from the side." She turned to someone who was not in the picture. "Go ahead with the battle plan called Ragnarok. All of our ships can use their weapons now. We will start fighting in 30 seconds. 30 seconds? Sarnak said, his voice shaking with doubt. Commander, the Krell fleet is not coming for another 2 hours. What are you talking about engaging the Krell fleet now? Vasquez said this in a voice. We are not just going to wait for them to come to our system. We are going to go to them. Before anyone could say a word, the 80 human ships changed direction. Started moving really fast towards the edge of the system. They were going fast that the Federation sensors were sending out warning signals. The engines of the ships were burning very brightly with a blue and white light, and they were moving at speeds that would have broken smaller ships into pieces. The human ships were still going strong, showing that they were very powerful. Thalman said that the spaceships are moving at 0.6 speed. His voice was full of surprise and fear. The spaceships are going really fast. At that speed, the people on the spaceships should be hurt badly. They should be stuck to the walls of the spaceships. How are the people on the spaceships surviving this? The spaceships are moving at 0.6 speed, and that is very scary. Voran did not know what to say. He just stood there. Watched as the human fleet went straight into danger. They were going to get destroyed for sure. The human fleet had few ships, only one for every 50 of the enemy ships. It seemed like they wanted to get destroyed. The human fleet just kept going towards the enemy even though they were so outnumbered. The Krell swarm found them really fast within minutes. The huge enemy fleet changed direction. The Krell swarm has 4,000 ships. They all moved together like one thing. They already destroyed 12 Federation fleets using the method. They just had many ships and they kept coming at them over and over. The Krell swarm used a lot of ships. They were very aggressive. Hive Commander Zrask looked at the ships that were coming towards him from his own ship. He felt a little curious. His people came from insects that lived in groups. They were all connected in a way that made it very hard for anyone to surprise them or catch them off guard. The Hive Commander Zrask and his people had taken over 17 groups of people because they had so many of their own kind and they all worked together perfectly. The human ships were getting closer. Hive Commander Zrask was watching them. The new ships that the humans had were really small, about 80 ships compared to the 4,000 ships that Zrask had. The energy that these human ships were giving off was not like anything that Zrask had seen before. It was very unusual. It seemed like the humans had some new technology that Zrask was not familiar with. Zrask knew that when it comes to a fight, the side with the most ships usually wins. So Zrask sent a message to all of his ships using the Hive link that lets them all talk to each other. The message was simple. All of the Zrask ships would start shooting at the ships as soon as they were close enough to be hit. The human ships would be destroyed away. They would not even have a chance to shoot back at the Zrask ships. The human fleet just kept on going. They did not slow down all. The human fleet maintained their charge, getting closer and closer at speeds that seemed really impossible. When the human fleet was 200,000 kilometers away, the Krell started shooting. The Krell fired energy beams and plasma torpedoes that shot across space. There were many that they could have destroyed a small moon. The Krell barrage hit the fleet with a lot of force. It was very devastating for the fleet. So I was waiting for something to happen. Nothing happened. The human shields were really bright for a second, then they went back to normal. This big attack that should have destroyed them did not do anything to them. Zrask felt confused because the Hive mind was confused too. This was impossible. No human shields in the galaxy could handle that much energy. The human shields just took it. Kept on going. Zrask thought about the shields and how they could do this. The humans shot back at them. This is when Zrask really felt scared. He was very afraid of the humans and what they could do to him. The humans were fighting back and Zrask saw the meaning of fear. It was a very bad feeling that Zrask had never felt before, and this feeling was terrifying for Zrask. The human ships fired their weapons all at once. First the railguns went off, shooting out pieces of metal that went really fast, almost as fast as light in just a few seconds. These big metal rods, made of tungsten, hit the Krell vessels before anyone could even see them coming. When the rods hit the Krell vessels, the vessels did not blow up. The human ships just kept firing at the Krell vessels. The Krell vessels just disappeared, turned into nothing because the metal rods were going incredibly fast when they hit them. The Krell ships, 300 of them, just disappeared in the first attack. It was like the laws of physics just made the Krell ships vanish. They were completely gone from existence. The Krell ships were wiped out, removed from being by the power of physics itself. The Krell ships were no more. The Krell vessels were still trying to deal with what had happened when the second wave came. Missiles shot out of the human launch tubes. There were thousands of them. Each missile had a warhead that got extremely hot. These warheads exploded in the middle of where the Krell vessels were. This caused a reaction that was like the energy from a star. Any Krell ships that were close within 1,000 kilometers were destroyed away. The Krell ships that were away were badly damaged by the electromagnetic pulses and radiation from the explosions. The Krell vessels were really struggling after this attack. A lot of Krell ships were destroyed. 800 Krell ships died in a huge nuclear fire. The Krell ships were completely destroyed by the fire. Then the drones showed up. From each of the ships a lot of autonomous combat units came out. They were like a cloud of metal insects. 50,000 drones were in the space between the fleet and the Krell fleet. The drones moved together like they were all being controlled by one thing. They flew around the Krell ships fast. The drones were too small and too fast for the Krell weapons to hit them. The drones really hit their targets in numbers. Each drone had explosives that could go through armor and then blow up inside the Krell capital ships. The Krell capital ships were badly shaken when many drones hit them at the time. This caused explosions inside the ships that damaged the parts that made the ships move and the places where they stored bullets and missiles. The Krell capital ships had problems because of these explosions. Zrask watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. The hive mind, which is usually so calm and works together, was now in a state of panic. Individual ships left their formation trying hard to get away. The human fleet kept chasing them, doing it in a very organized way, and their guns were firing at just the right time to cause the most damage. The human fleet was very good at destroying the fleet of Zrask. The fight was really short. It lasted 8 minutes and 17 seconds. This was, from the moment the first human shot was fired from a gun to the moment the last Krell ship was either destroyed or ran away. A lot of Krell ships came to fight. 4,000 of them. Most of these ships were completely destroyed. 3,843 of them. 157 Krell ships managed to escape. They used their fast drives to get away as quickly as they could. As they were running away, the Krell ships were all thinking the thing. They were really scared. The Krell ships were so scared because they had just seen what the human railgun could do to the Krell ships. We did not have any losses. The amount of ammunition we used was 18%. In the Federation Command Center it was completely quiet. Everyone there was looking at the displays with shocked faces. This was not the people but all the different kinds of beings too. They were all thinking the thing. The numbers they were seeing were just not possible. The information from the sensors was clear and it was telling them something that they did not want to believe. The Federation Command Center people were staring at the displays and they could not understand the numbers. The sensor data was giving them information that was very hard to accept. Voron said this quietly, you could hardly hear him. They destroyed 4,000 ships, he said. This happened in 8 minutes. The crazy thing is, they did not lose one person. 4,000 ships. That is a lot of ships, and they just destroyed them all in 8 minutes without losing anyone from their side, from the other side that did the destroying, I mean the side that destroyed the 4,000 ships. General Sarnak fell back into his command chair, his body trembling all over. What are these things? What kind of trouble did we bring into our galaxy? Commander Vasquez's face showed up on the screen. She looked really calm, like she had just finished a practice session. Commander Vasquez said, Federation Command, this is Commander Vasquez. The Krell threat in this sector is gone. We are waiting for what to do. Federation Command should know that we have supplies for 5 more battles that are about the same size as this one. We have 5 battles to fight. The words just stayed there, feeling like an omen. The humans used little of their bullets to wipe out a whole bunch of Krell spaceships. I wonder what the humans can do when they really use all their power. The Krell armada is all ready. The humans are not even close to running out of ammunition. What will happen when the humans use all of their ammunition to fight the Krell? Chancellor Mivek finally spoke up. He was really... You could see right through him. Commander Vasquez, we are so thankful to you. You saved the lives of 12 billion people today. That is a deal. We need to know how you did this. Your technology is more advanced than we thought was possible. Commander Vasquez, your technology is really something. We are talking about 12 billion lives. Chancellor, we were alone for 200 years. You left us by ourselves. That was a good thing. We had time to work on things without anyone bothering us. Humanity used this time to get ready for something from outside our planet. We made weapons that you did not allow. We learned about things that you did not think were right. We practiced fighting without following your rules. We were getting ready for a fight without any limits. The people of Earth were preparing for war. We were doing it our way, not yours, Chancellor. We built what we needed. We learned what we had to all because we were left alone for 200 years, Chancellor. She stopped talking for a moment so her words could really sink in. You asked for our help because the way you were fighting was not getting the job done. This is how we do things. This is what war is like, when we do not hold back. We do not hesitate. We are talking about war here. This is what it looks like when it is fought our way without feeling sorry for anyone or waiting to see what happens. Voron stepped forward, his voice was shaking. Commander, what is going to happen? The Krell Swarm has fleets. The Krell Swarm is a big threat. The Krell Swarm controls a lot of territories. Will you help us get rid of the Krell Swarm completely? I mean eliminate the Krell Swarm for good. Vasquez thought about what to say. He said, "We will help you finish this war, Ambassador. After that we need to talk about what happens next. The galaxy is different now. Everyone who saw this battle knows that humanity has a lot of power. That is going to cause problems. The galaxy has changed today because of this battle, and humanity has shown that it has a lot of power. That will have consequences for humanity and the galaxy." Sarnak asked what kind of consequences would happen. He sounded really worried when he asked that. "The way the Federation reacts will determine what happens next," Vasquez said. "We did not come to this place to take over or hurt anyone. The reason we are here is that the Krell were causing problems in the galaxy, and if we had not stopped them they would have caused trouble for Earth too. We are not going to go back to being alone like we were before. The whole galaxy is now aware that we exist and they know what we are capable of doing. The big question is whether the Federation and we will work together as friends or if we will just keep our distance from each other as groups. The Federation and we have a choice to make about what kind of relationship we want to have. We can be friends and allies. We can just stay separate and not work together. The decision is up to the Federation and us." Chancellor Mivek's light was pulsing in a kind of way. He said, "You are giving Chancellor Mivek and the others a choice to make." Vasquez said, "I am telling you what is real. Humanity is now a deal in the galaxy whether we like it or not. We can team up with the Federation. Be on the same level, share what we know and work together to stay safe. We can just make sure nobody messes with us and do our own thing. The decision is yours. It is up to you to choose what you want to do with the Federation and humanity." Voron got the message that was not spoken out loud. The Federation had two choices when it came to humanity. They could accept humans as partners. Treat them as equals even though they had said no to humans before. They could say that humans are superior and just leave them alone. One thing the Federation could not do was go to how things were before, where they made all the rules and told humans what to do. Mivek said this slowly. The Federation would really like to work with them. They think it would be a thing for the Federation. To make this happen, the Federation and their partners will have to talk about it a lot and come to an agreement. The Federation will have to discuss things with their partners. Vasquez said, "I agree with that. First we have to finish this war. We need to get the coordinates for all the places where the Krell are gathered. We will get rid of them one by one. In 3 months' time the Krell swarm will not be a threat to us anymore. We will make sure the Krell are completely gone." The human fleet stayed where they were with 80 ships that had just changed everything about fighting in space. Voron looked at the fleet and felt a lot of different emotions. The human fleet had saved them, so Voron felt relieved. Voron was also thankful to the fleet for helping them. The human fleet being there made Voron wonder what would happen now. The humans had shown that they can destroy any fleet in the galaxy easily. They were kind to us today. What about tomorrow? What will the humans want from us in return for keeping us safe? What is really scary is this. Can anyone prevent the humans from taking what they want if they decide to use force? The humans are very powerful. This is what makes them so frightening. The Galactic Federation would have to deal with these questions for a time. For now 12 billion people on Qatar Prime were happy to be alive. They did not know that being saved had changed the galaxy forever. The universe found out something today. Humanity was not hiding in fear for 200 years. Humanity was there, and the Galactic Federation and the universe would have to think about what humanity had been doing all this time on Qatar Prime and what this meant for the Galactic Federation and the rest of the universe. The people had spent all that time getting ready for war. They were preparing for war. The war was something the people had been thinking about for a time, and they had spent it preparing for war. Now everyone knew what the people were capable of. The people had shown what they could do. Commander Vasquez signed off. The Federation leaders were left to think about what was happening now. Commander Vasquez went to her quarters and she let herself smile a little bit. Earth Command was going to be very happy. The demonstration had gone well. The galaxy now knew that humanity was not a species that you could just ignore or control. Commander Vasquez thought about this. She felt good because the demonstration had shown everyone what humanity was capable of. These creatures were at the top of the food chain, and they had finally made it to the galactic stage. The apex predators had reached a level. They were the apex predators who were now playing a role in the galaxy. And the galaxy would never be the same.